So a lot of people are saying now that, look, we basically are down to two candidates, it seems like, and everyone's worried if one wins, will the supporters of the other sort of agree to support the Democratic nominee? That's a question you get asked a lot. Is it safe to assume that you will support Joe Biden if he is the nominee?
Yeah, I think, I've said throughout this entire process that what is so important is that we ultimately unite behind who that Democratic nominee is. I think it's a two-way street. I've been concerned by some folks that say if Bernie's the nominee, they won't support him, and the other way around. Right now, November, this is more important than all of us. And we really need to make sure that we defeat Donald Trump at the polls, assuming and knowing how insane it's going to get between now and then.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a laid-back election season.
It's not going to be chill.
No, it's not going to be chill. It's not going to be like, honey, the debate's on. Let's get a glass of wine. And just, one thing that must be surreal for you is 2016, you knocked on doors for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, you get elected to Congress, and now you are actually on the stump with Bernie. When you go out on stage for these giant Bernie rallies, does it seem as surreal to you that I imagine it does?
It's completely surreal. Just, 4 years ago, I was in the South Bronx as a volunteer helping organize this massive rally in St. Mary's Park. And at the time, Bernie Sanders was one of the first Democratic candidates since, I believe, Robert F. Kennedy to campaign in the South Bronx. And to have a candidate that really saw our community was really impactful. And now to be able to go out and bear witness to what so many communities are experiencing all across the country is just very full circle and gratifying.
And obviously a lot's changed for you in the 4 years. Is it safe to assume that Bernie hasn't changed at all?
I think he's changed a little bit.
Okay,
I think he's changed. Although, he is famous for his consistency.
I do think that for those who are drawn to Bernie, that is the thing that is impossible to argue with. As far as a politician with consistency over the years, he really stands out.
He does, and he's been fighting for healthcare as a right this entire time. And it's, now that I'm on the other side in Congress and you see how much pressure there is, to bow to a lot of special interests, the fact that he has been relying on small dollar donors since before the internet kind of blows my mind. It's like collecting little checks this whole time and really committed to a grassroots movement when it was way, way harder than it is even now is really phenomenal.
Another thing that will have huge implications, not just on this election, but the next decade, is the census. Can you speak about how you're approaching that and how, just try to explain to people exactly how important it is.
So we are all going to get census forms or a prompt. We're all going to get mailed a prompt to fill out the census in the next 2 weeks or so. And so I think what's really important is that we all fill this out. It happens once every 10 years. Every single person, no matter your documentation status, no matter your housing status, income, et cetera, is to be counted. And it determines how much our schools are going to get funded, how much infrastructure gets invested, and of course, how many members of Congress each community gets. And if you get undercounted, in some parts of New York City, some communities, the self-reporting is about half of what we think it should be. And that has real impacts on apportionment of how many teachers that your local schools get. So it's really important. It's completely confidential, and it's even confidential within the federal government. Your census data is not shared with any other federal agency at all. So don't worry if you're having a creative living situation, and it's not going to be told to your landlord or anything crazy like that. Don't worry. Totally safe.
A good tip for my viewers. Hello to the 10 of you watching together right now. I'm very happy to see you got some companionship for yourself. I would imagine Washington, even though it's crowded with people, can be very lonely.
Yeah.
You got a new dog.
Yes,
this is
Deco.
These are very attractive photos of Deco. Were these professionally done?
This was taken in the House Rules Committee. He was a doggy chairman of the day. he rotates. So there's a cast of characters, and so they very graciously invite the dogs of many members.
Oh,
to
so
take photos there.
this was not a special treatment for you. It's a rotating set of
it's
dogs.
a thing. So there's a lot of different doggy chairs of the day.
That's great. By the way, I don't know why that's not on C-SPAN because
It should be.
it should be because C-SPAN is boring and needs more dogs.
It'll be like Puppy Bowl.
yeah, exactly. Hey, thank you so much for being here. It's always
Thank you.
really nice to have you on the show. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.